Coming up in today's video, the numbers are out. Sales are up. Average price is up. Inventory's down. I'm sick. You know what else is sickening? The amount of supply in the city. We're going to dive into it. Stay tuned. Monthly report coming up next. I'm so sick. Alright, Michael J. Black here. Welcome to the channel. If you are new, make sure you hit that subscribe button for more market details regarding Toronto real estate. Now, diving into the numbers from last month, what TREB recorded, sales hit 6,455, which is up on a year-over-year basis of 1.9%. This is particularly a nice number because coming off obviously last year's lows, it's nice to see these numbers continue to climb. Now, September is typically a bad month because obviously everyone's going back to school, back to work, summer's over. So these numbers are usually, kind of a low month to analyze. But when we look at the average price, we hit $796,786, which is up 2.9%, another nice number. New listings though, 15,920, and that's down 3.1%. So continuing to play into the lack of supply. Now, months of inventory up 3.1 from a month-over-month basis. Now, days on market 26. So that is down. Now, when we look at these numbers, like I said, September is typically a low month to be following, but it's a good month because it's transitioning into the fall months where it kind of heats up before it cools down for the winter holidays. Now, TREB's reporting, when we look at these numbers, it's great to see that majority of these numbers throughout the neighborhoods are up across the GTA. Now, it's important to notice that when we're pulling these numbers, we're literally looking at 500 neighborhoods. So anyone, if you're looking to buy or sell, you definitely want to, use these numbers as a gauge of what's going on overall. But again, it's all about the micro markets. Definitely work with an agent that knows your area or analyzes this stuff on a daily to make sure that, you're in good working order to make sure you make the best choice when it comes down to buying in your areas or selling. It's very important. Now, today I want to definitely focus on the supply issue because we do have a municipal election, and it is one of the main factors that everyone is really fighting for is the housing supply situation of what's going on. As more and more people, the demand is there. People want to have home ownership, although there's tighter lending conditions, interest rates are going up, affordability continues to climb, and it's not easy for everyone to get in. They just announced like millennials, are fearing that they'll never be able to buy anything. So it's a constant and it's the number one thing that they're saying that people in this election are kind of focusing on. So diving into this a little bit more, we're going to tackle what is really going on here. Now, analyzing what's going on, like I said, demand is there. When we look at the numbers of population, if it continues to grow at 115,000 new residents to the GTA each year, by year 2041, we're going to be at 9.7 million residents. Now, right now, or last year we'll say, 38,000 new homes were built. At the pace that we're going, we need to hit minimum 50,000 new properties, new residents to keep up with demand. Now, the rental stock is actually plummeting per capita, causing less options for housing as well as affordability, because obviously this inventory is very low. It's causing the rental demand and price to skyrocket up. Now, when we look at the breakdown, 45% of single family homes make up the market, where there's a missing middle, which is 20%, which is mid-density. And we'll get into that in a second. And then the 35% is condo apartments. Now, the missing middle would be your semi-detached row houses, multi-complexes, courtyard apartments. Now, when we look at the mid-density housing, why that's needed so much, because it accommodates growing families. These are families that, one, could have been in condos, and now they're growing out of the condo life, and they need to move up. Now, they can't afford, a single-family home yet, so they need to be accommodated by that mid-density. like I said, semi-detached townhouse, something that's bigger that a family can grow into. Now, when we look at the stats of barriers to right sizing, right now you have 56% of households are overhoused, right? That's when you go through these neighborhoods and you have, you know, these big houses, but there's 1 to 2 people living in them, right? And then you go into the smaller rental, you know, different communities, and you have way more, you know, a bunch, 5, 6, 7 people living in these houses. It makes it very difficult. Now, 33% of people are in the right size housing and 11% are under house. So when you look at these stats, we definitely need to even them out a lot more by building mid housing. Now we know the problem, let's look at the reason. And this is why when it comes down to election time, it's very important to raise awareness of this, although it is already being, you know, voiced. The more people get involved, obviously the greater potential chance of stuff changing, in theory. Now, when we look at the reason, it's inflexible zoning rules. Now, when we look at the city of Toronto, 40% of zoning is designated for detached. Out of that 40%, 6% is only designated for single detached housing. And when you look even further, the appeal process and they get anything changed is extremely long and painful, and it creates, you know, this friction for developers to go out and try to, you know, tell the city, change the city's rules and all that, because there's too much red tape. So this is why TREB is, you know, raising as much awareness to the people and to the municipals about, hey, we need to change this to streamline the process to fit the demand, because in the long run we're going to be suffering huge and prices will continue to rise, because at the end of the day everyone's going to be, you know, affordability will be right out the market, and everyone's going to be stuck just renting and not being able to move up or staying at home forever until essentially something changes. Now TREB has brought awareness by putting the unlockmyhousingoptions.com. It's a website designated for this to bring awareness. I'll leave the link below. Definitely check that out, because like I said, this is all the stuff that we're talking about today, and it is a bigger issue, a huge issue in the long run. Now another reason is the land transfer tax. Right now they say 16% of it reduces the supply in the market, about 16%, because at the end of the day, all those overhoused people in those big detached homes don't want to sell, because at some point when they buy, they got to pay really high land transfer tax. And at the end of the day, it prevents mid-density for that reason. If they don't want to sell, at some point, growing families can't move into their homes, even if they can afford it. So that is another point that obviously reduces mid-density. So the solution is quite simple. Unlock housing options by supporting zoning middle-class changes, support changing, you know, municipal land transfer taxes and make it more fair, oppose new municipal land transfer tax, reduce the red tape that it takes to obviously get the approval process to change zoning, and provide more adequate infrastructure, because more roads, more infrastructure going to further places that allows people to commute into the city or where they gotta go is obviously going to allow developers to build further out. So guys, there you got it. This is this month's report. And like I said, I will leave the link below for the unlockmyhousingoptions.com, which is TREB's, you know, website to bring awareness to these issues. Like, comment, share. I'd like to hear your opinion. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit that bell. And we'll catch you on the next one, guys. Take care.